In this video, I'm going to show you how to use arrows in Groundhog as part of an annotation layer. I'm going to show you using a map window, but you can do all the same functionality using a section window. So we need to start off by creating an annotation layer. So we go into the layer control and right click and select New Annotation Layer. Give it a name. And then we will make sure that it is active. You'll see that now it's active, we have this palette of tools here, and we're going to concentrate on this one here, arrows. So if we select this, it will turn yellow, which will then allow us to place our arrow or arrows where we wish. So I'm going to place an arrow here, and another one here. I'm now going to turn the arrow control off by clicking on it again. Right, now these arrows aren't quite in the right place, so we can move them by using the drag to reposition node here, or we can resize them by pulling this node here. Okay, now this arrow here I need to change around completely, so they are always drawn by default from left to right, but we can move them around by dragging on this resize node like this. Now unfortunately you will see that the text is now upside down, it moves with the arrow. So I'm going to show you the options for the arrow. So if we all the edit options for the arrow are on this node here, the drag node. So right click on that and select Edit Arrow Text Settings. And we have a new Arrow Settings dialog box here. So we can set the arrow color, and I'm going to make it orange. And we can set the arrow text color, and I will keep it black. And the font, so I will make it Arial bold 12. Okay, so here we can set the text that we want to show in the arrow, and whether or not we want the label to appear inside or outside the arrow. So as you saw, I will just move this a moment, as you saw currently the text for the arrow is outside the arrow, so I'm going to put it inside the arrow. Now I need to rotate this text because it's upside down, so I'm going to rotate it by 180 degrees, and I'm going to increase the size of the arrowhead and the width of the arrow. So you will see that it's now a much bigger arrow and the text looks correct. If we want to change the settings for all the arrows, or for all the arrows where we haven't already applied a setting, we can use the settings button up here in the layer control, and it gives us all the settings. Note that we need to be on the arrow settings tab, so I'll just change the arrow color just so that you can see that it affects the other arrow. Okay, and apply. So any arrow that we draw now will have these settings unless we change them. That's everything I'm going to say about arrows, but if you need to know about callouts and labels or about the graphics, there are separate videos available to explain those.